Mission Swachhata and Paani, our live telethon that's been live now for several hours. I've lost count, Maria, of how long we've been on air.
And counting.
Yes, it feels much longer though, and we're live across Network 18 on all of our channels. If you haven't joined the conversation, then join in now. Our hashtag is on your screen, so send us your feedback, your comments, and of course, we're asking each one of you to tell us how you believe each citizen can contribute. So the 5-point mandate, that charter that we're setting together, please send us your feedback. We appreciate your comments. Joining Mission Paani's campaign with us on stage, very, very special guest, Lalita Kumaramangalam, the former president of the NCW. Also with us is the actor, entrepreneur, Kunal Kapoor. Kunal, many thanks for joining us here.
Thank you so much.
We've also got other guests coming in, Srimoy Piyukundu, acclaimed journalist and columnist on gender and sexuality, and Ayyo Shraddha, actor and influencer. Piyu and Shraddha, could we have you join us on stage as well? Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our guests who joined the campaign here on Swachhata and Mission Paani.
Hello, Shraddha.
Hello,
hi.
hello.
Both in turtlenecks. And that is great. You know, influencers, as they say, play a very important role. In social media influencers, because of their following and the message, social message gets carried the best way through social influencers. Right. So thank you, Shraddha, and welcome.
Oh, it's all up to you now. Counting on you.
Yes, we're counting on each one of you to spread the message. But you know what I want to talk to each one of you about, and I'll start with you, Lalita ji, because through the course of today, and of course the conversations that we've had over the previous 2 seasons of Mission Paani and now Mission Swachhata and Paani, is the impact that the deficiency of sanitation, of hygiene, of water, the impact that it has on the lives of women, the kind of constraints that it creates for women to be able to achieve and realize their true potential. And I know that this is something that you've worked, it's very personal to you. So what do you think ensuring clean sanitation, ensuring that there is water availability, there is access, can do in terms of just changing the lives, the everyday lives of women in this country?
I was just talking to Srimoy about this. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was one of the lucky ones. I had access to treatment and all the rest of it. One of the main reasons for breast cancer or cancer amongst women increasing, and it's now reached epidemic proportions in India, even though we don't know about it, is the fact that we have so little hygiene. It's not just about the use of sanitary towels, it's about the proper use of sanitary towels. Everybody now talks about STs, not everybody, but where we do.
The very privileged do, yes.
Where we do, we don't teach them how to use them and how to dispose them. And women, unfortunately, even today, I mean, how many of us on stage, quite frankly, here, can talk about periods to the men in our own family, our friends, our colleagues, forget the colleagues bit, actually, our friends, our own family, our sons. I mean, no, it's a big no-go, even for people like you and me, which is it's a big taboo. Associated. So women, if they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go and ask. And that's something that as women,
they have the
we need to be able
ask.
to. No, they just feel they're not supposed to talk about it. It's still extraordinarily, it's extraordinarily taboo, ganda hai, as they say in Hindi. I mean, you know, in the nalladilla in Tamil we say. So it's just not good. It's not done. And we have these barriers that women are never supposed to cross. You have to be proper, well-dressed, pretty. You can't be, you know, all the rest of it, the guidelines for women.
It's a long list.
It's a long list, it can go on. Bind us to not being able to talk about our real problems. So it's not even just an availability of water, but it's also that even today, if you go to a shop to buy sanitary towels, how do they give it to you?
You wrap it
in
up
a black pad.
Exactly.
So it's so demeaning. So we internalize that, which is human. And therefore, where do women get a chance to talk about their reproductive health?
Absolutely, but it's not just women, Srimoy, and that's what I want to address with you. You know, part of why we're doing this is to mainstream the conversation on why sanitation matters, on why water matters, on why access to both matter, and the outcomes, if you provide them, to economic empowerment, health empowerment, and the difference that it makes. But, you know, we need to start talking about the impact on other marginalized communities, on other less privileged communities as well. And I know that that's something that you're hoping to mainstream as well.
Yes, very true. I think I'm going to share a very emotional story to begin with. So recently I made a road trip in the Northeast. And when you do road trips, that's when you realize how fragile the access to sanitation really is.
Yes.
We are privileged. We are going in a car and seeing us, people are moving and they are giving us access to a toilet. So we stopped at a dhaba, on the Guwahati-Shillong highway. And there was a young mother feeding a child at her plump breast. And the women in that toilet, women like me, who came out of Innovas and Corollas and all of that, well, she wasn't menstruating, right? Usually we have this image about a menstrual, cycle of a woman and a lot of campaigns now. But you should have seen that look on everybody's face that, oh my God, she's just popped out her breast, and though it was a quote-unquote ladies' toilet. And the most beautiful thing happened, a strong, wonderful trans woman who was waiting peacefully in line, but not sure whether she would have access to a woman's toilet, right? Because that is such an issue of marginalization. She came and she just wrapped her arms around this mother and put her pallu like this, as if it was almost a film heroine. Right. And I thought that was the most beautiful endorsement of what access to sanitation or a toilet should be. It should be gender neutral. So if you see during the process of change that trans people go through, it's very confusing, it's very dehumanizing. Which toilet do they access? Of course, we must salute state governments, like the Delhi government has recently had exclusive toilets, right, for trans women. But what about trans men? So I think the way forward is to make access to public toilets in general gender neutral, because isn't this the whole message of diversity and inclusion? Isn't this what our culture is all about? I cannot tell you the image of that young mother and the image of this woman. Now, of course, we have Sushmita Sen playing my friend Gauri Sawant in the film Tali. But a real-life trans woman, who didn't even know whether she could come and, use the toilet, protecting this young mother and giving her that dignity of womanhood. I will never forget this story.
And Kunal, since you have teamed up with Akshay Kumar and you have distributed sanitary napkins, particularly among the women who are disadvantaged in Mumbai, what has the experience been like? And the fact that we are having an event and we are normalizing, mainstreaming that conversation, do you think that will certainly go a long way?
Yeah, I think it will. That was a campaign where there's this wonderful NGO, they call Samarpan, and they provide hygiene kits and sanitary pads to underprivileged women, and they were helping daily wage workers during the pandemic and the lockdown and stuff, right? And Akshay has obviously been a big supporter of menstrual hygiene, which is great. And we reached out to him, and he was very happy to come on board. We ended up raising 20 lakhs, reached out to a lot of women. But I think the most important thing that happened with that campaign was the fact that you could have a conversation about this, right?
And the men were having a conversation
about this. And the thing is that you can't sort of, it's not tangible. You can't put the value of awareness, right? But when you have conversations like this, I mean, for me, this is not even something that's crossed my mind. Exactly. But when she, talks about it, you start thinking, and hopefully, with initiatives like this, it gets people to think. And I think that is the most important thing that you can do. And I've always believed that, as celebrities, we're selling colas and we're selling clothes and we're selling cars. There's absolutely no reason that you should not be able to put out good causes and, create awareness. So yeah,
and behavioral change. I mean,